Car stories, cars, classics, hot rods, muscle cars, exotics. There's a story about every one of them. And this one's no different, but it's a good story. And again, it involves my good friend, Mr. Sam Hard. After we did another story, and there was another deal that happened, which you probably saw, telling a story about the Range Rovers from Fast and Furious. He was so happy and so impressed with my performance at getting those things sold, he decides to set me up with another car that we have to sell and we can make some money on. I'm like, all right, so what do you got? I'm going to put a timeline in this story. Last week, Barrett Jackson just finished up Scottsdale. Okay, so I'm already out here telling my tale. And we sold a 1968 Shelby GT500 KR Mustang for $385,000 all in with fees. So that means that's what the buyer paid. Buyer paid $350 hammer plus the buy fees. So $385,000 is really what the car sells for, and that's how you look at it. And this leads me to how this all started. I'm walking around the Good Guys car show in Scottsdale back at the end of November. I get a phone call from my buddy Sam Hard. And he goes, "How you doing, mate?" As he always starts out on the phone. He goes, "How's the legend?" And he likes to call me the legend. And I said, "I'm doing good, man. What do you got?" He goes, "I got a friend of mine over here. He's got a Shelby Mustang GT500 KR, red car, beautiful." He goes, "I told him he's got to sell it at Barrett Jackson, and the only person that can handle it is you." I said, "All right, well, I appreciate the referral." I said, "What's it going to cost me, and what do I got to do, and how are we going to make this happen?" He goes, as you know, Sam, by watching his stories, he's going at 7,000 RPM all day long. And he goes, "Next week, I'm going to get it here. We're going to get it in the container, get it on a boat, and send it over to you." I said, "Okay, give me the rundown on the car." So it's a very good car with an amazing pedigree, fully restored, came over from the U.S. in 2013. It was in storage for 25 or 30 years, unrestored original GT500 KR Shelby Mustang in bright red with the white KR stripes, black interior, 428 R code, Cobra Jet, 4-speed manual, all the right equipment, all original paperwork, Shelby receipt, documents, original bill of sale from Shelby, owner's, 3 books that thick of the restoration, very well sorted out. Story goes, car was shipped over in 2013, came out of Ohio. Car was bought new in McKeesport, Pennsylvania, was used, parked, and stored for 30 years. And then 10, 12 years ago, it got shipped to Edinburgh, Scotland. And that's where it got restored by a gentleman that does Aston Martins. And I saw pictures of this car, and the restoration was second to none. Spectacular. I have to get on the phone with Barrett Jackson, sell this car, and he wants to send it over to me, but it has to go Saturday night prime time, which is, where your $500,000 and $1 million cars are. And Shelby of that caliber, that's where it belongs. So I get on the phone, I talk to Mr. Steve Davis at Barrett Jackson, and we discuss the car, and he's asking questions, wants to see some documents, paperwork, and I send him everything. And Sam was very diligent in getting me all the paperwork quickly. Steve's like, "Joe, get the car over here. It's going in. We're going to put this car on Super Saturday at Barrett Jackson." I call Sam back. He's ecstatic. His buddy Jason Pelosi from Deranged was very happy the car was going there, and couldn't have happened to a nicer guy, by the way. We get the car. Here's how it goes. We go from a phone call to a car going into a shipping container from the UK, has to get to me in Scottsdale. It all happens in 32 days. Unheard of. And that included a 5-day customs hold in Chesapeake, Virginia when the car landed. Now, the car was supposed to come, get off the boat, container, go on a train, and go to my freight forwarder, my expediter in Long Beach, California, and then the car was going to get shipped back to me in Phoenix. Sam calls me up about 2 weeks into the journey. This thing's on a boat in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. He goes, "We got a problem." I said, "What's the problem?" He goes, "The car lands in Virginia, then it has to go on a train to California. They're not going to get it until the week that Barrett Jackson's up and running. And I don't know if you're going to have time to get the car because you got to get it inspected and get a U.S. title for it again." I'm like, "Yeah, I need the car here before the auction, not during the auction." I said, "We got an issue." I said, "What are you going to do?" He goes, "Let me make some calls." So he calls who he's got to call. I call my shipper that I use, a gentleman named Howard Smith at HTX. And he goes, "Joe," he goes, "Buddy, I don't know what to tell you." He goes, "Unless you can get that car disembarked in Chesapeake, Virginia, and put it on a transport and have it hot-shotted to your place," he goes, "you're not going to see that car till after the auction." So now we got a problem. Barrett Jackson's had this car hyped up, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 car, expectedly, and the car's not going to make the auction. That's not a good look for the auction, and it's definitely not a good look for me. So I get on the phone with Sam, and Sam tells me, I got some good news. I said, what's that? He goes, they're going to disembark this thing in Chesapeake, Virginia when the boat lands, not put it on the rail. I said, okay, that cuts a week of travel out. Perfect. Car gets off. I'm in contact with the freight forwarding company in Chesapeake that's holding the car, CBT Logistics. We know they're getting the car. I get a call from my guy in California. We got a problem. They put a hold on the car in customs. I'm like, why? He goes, it happens. They don't tell us. I said, a day, an hour, a week? I said, what's the story? He goes, it could be a day, it could be a week, it could be a month. He goes, we don't know. The car's on a hold, and there's nothing you can do about it until they reach out to you and pull the hold off. I'm like, great. What am I supposed to do with this, $250,000 to $400,000 Shelby Mustang in a storage container in Chesapeake, Virginia, a week before the auction? So we're just riding the clock out. There's nothing we can do. Sam's nervous. I'm nervous. I didn't tell Barrett Jackson what was going on. I said, I'll deal with that if it happens. All of a sudden, about 4 days later, 5 days later, I get a phone call from my freight guy, and he goes, they just lifted the customs hold. I'm like, awesome. He goes, all right, now the container's got to go from the port to this logistics company that's going to disembark it and pull it out of the container. I was like, when's that going to happen? He goes, that's going to happen tomorrow. That's now a week in front of the start of the auction. I said, all right. So now I got to get a shipper in there. I got to find a hotshot that's going to pick this thing up and run this thing straight to Phoenix. I can't find anybody. Every shipping company in the world, in the United States, is either in Kissimmee, Florida, finishing up Mecum, or delivering cars to Scottsdale, Barrett Jackson, has their loads assessed, booked. There's no empty enclosed transports. And I couldn't get one. Finally, I find a guy. This is the Friday, the weekend before the auction. They can't pick it up until Monday. They're not a tag team. It's a single driver. He's not getting to me till Friday or Saturday, which means the auction starts on Monday, opens to the public Friday for viewing. I get the car late Friday night or Saturday. Monday, I got to drag it to motor vehicle. I got to get it inspected, go through the customs paperwork, get a title produced, then I can take it to Barrett Jackson while the auction's going on. 4 days in front of Saturday. That was too tight of a window. That wasn't working. But I let the shipper be scheduled for Monday. But I still left my shipping post up on a page that we use when we ship cars called Central Dispatch. Saturday morning, I wake up about 7 o'clock. I'm laying in bed. I'm looking at the ceiling, and I'm going, this guy screws up this car. He goes, we ain't going to get it. I'm not going to get it. I said, it's got a problem. I said, what am I going to do? I called all my shippers. Nobody's around. The phone rings. Pick it up. It's a Wyoming number. I'm like, So, how you doing? He goes, hey, Joe. This is, I forget the gentleman's name, from Midnight Express Transport. You got a post up for a Mustang in Chesapeake, Virginia. I'm like, yeah. He goes, oh, I can pick it up. He goes, me and my partner, we tag team. We'll get it to you by Wednesday. I'm like, how did this happen? I'm like, thank you. He goes, we're bringing another car out there that's going to Barrett Jackson. I said, yeah, this one's going to Barrett Jackson also. He goes, oh, we can take it. I said, no, it's got to come to my place. I got to do an inspection, get a title. I called the other shipper, and I was like, listen, I said, I hate to rain on your parade. I said, but I got to cancel. I got a guy that can pick it up and hotshot it to me in 3 days. Tag team. He goes, Joe, no problem. It's fine. All weekend, I'm happy. I call Sam. He's happy. We're high-fiving, 25,000 miles apart across the country. And we're happy it's getting done. Monday morning, I get a call. This shipper, I'm talking, you want to talk about Johnny on the spot. He shows up at 8:30 in the morning at the place. He's got the car loaded at 9 o'clock. He gives me a link to an app called My360 so I can follow the car all the way across the country. And I'm taking screenshots of the car traveling across the country. I'm sending them to Sam. Wednesday, he says he's going to get to me Wednesday late afternoon. I wake up Wednesday morning, about 7 o'clock. I grab my phone. I open up the app. I'm like, oh, he's up in Flagstaff. Perfect. He's going to be here in a couple hours. So what? Why has he been parked for 6 hours? Maybe he finally decided to sleep. All right. About an hour later, my phone rings. Transport calls me. Hey, Joe, it's so-and-so from Midnight Express. I'm like, what's going on? He goes, well, we're in Flag. We got a little problem. I'm like, no, don't tell me there was an accident or damage to the car. He goes, my DEF went out on my truck. He goes, I got somebody coming in to fix it. I said, where are you at? And he told me. I said, listen, I'll get my single enclosed trailer, my truck. I'll run up there 2 hours and go grab this thing right now. And he goes, nope. He goes, he's going to fix it. I'll be to you tonight. And like I said, he goes, maybe an hour or two later. And I said, all right. I wasn't getting the car inspected on Wednesday, so it's fine. So I don't care. I said, listen, I don't care what time you get here tonight. I'll take that car. He calls me at 7 o'clock at night. He finally gets the truck fixed. Gets down to me in Phoenix at about 11:30 at night. I'm sitting in front of my shop. He comes in. He's got a nice 3-car enclosed, pulls it with a dually. Nice, clean, small setup. I got video of the car rolling off. I'm on the phone with Sam. He's all excited. The car's here. 8 o'clock next morning, I pull the car out. My detail is finishing cleaning up a bunch of cars. My guys are working in the shop. I'm saying to myself, I don't want to put this in a trailer just to take it 8 minutes down the road and get it inspected. I'm going to drive this car. So I call Sam. And I said, hey, can I drive this? How reliable is this Shelby? Has it been driven a lot? And he goes, yeah, there's probably 500 miles on it since it's been built. He goes, just make sure you got insurance. I said, oh, I'm insured. So I drive it over to motor vehicle. I pull in. They do their VIN inspection, look at my customs paperwork. There's a problem. We're missing a bill of sale from the gentleman that sold the Mustang to my guy in Edinburgh, Scotland. There was no connection. My guy was on the UK paperwork. He was on the US to Scotland paperwork. No connection to the dots. He goes, we can't get a title for this car. He goes, you need a bill of sale between these two. So I call Sam. I'm in motor vehicle in Phoenix at about 10 o'clock in the morning. It's roughly 6 o'clock at night over in the UK. Nope. He goes, you don't need any of that. He goes, you got the UK paper? I said, no. I said, we don't have the link from the UK paperwork to the Scotland guy. He goes, oh, well, we just do a bill of sale. So before I left motor vehicle, I said, what do you actually need? And I got a supervisor at DMV. He goes, I just need a bill of sale from this individual to this individual. There's a bill of sale from that individual to you, so you're fine. I said, any bill of sale? He goes, yeah, just a bill of sale. I said, there's no specific form in the UK. He goes, nope, as long as they both sign it and date it. That's all I needed to know. Being the shrewd paperwork guy that I am in the motor vehicle business, not breaking any laws, mind you, I know how to make it work in my favor. I get off the phone with Sam, Google a little information, and I just put in UK automotive bill of sale. You know how many websites there are for UK bills of sale available on Google? There must have been 13 of them. I go on, I pay £27. That was what it cost, whatever that converts to in American money. I would have paid $100, I don't care. And I put all the seller's information in. I put my customer, Jason Pelosi's information in, fill it all out. Doesn't need to be notarized, just needs to be a witness. And I print it out. I pay him my £27. I print it out. I'm like, this is an official looking document. So I email it over to the UK. Jason signs it, emails it back. And the guy he bought it from mysteriously was able to be found and sign the form. It's a wonderful thing, the internet. I print it out. I put all the paperwork back together. I shoot to DMV the next day. Now, mind you, I had the car inspected. I had the VIN inspection. They didn't need to see the car again. So I immediately took the car basically another mile away to Westworld Scottsdale, dropped the car off. They were happy to get the car. Mr. Steve Davis loved the car. Craig Jackson saw it, loved the car. They put the car in its tent on display. We're happy. I'm back at DMV at 8:30 in the morning. I lay out my story and my argument, and here's everything. I said, they just emailed it back to me this morning. Guy looks at it. Oh, this is perfect. Go ahead. The girl spits out a title, hands me a title. I walk out the door. We're happy. Awesome. Everything falls into place. So we went from a story on the phone to getting this car sold to in a container, landed at my shop in 32 days from the UK, which is pretty unheard of. Now we're at the auction. Sam comes flying in. The owner of the car that consigned it to me comes in, and we're doing some social media on the car, and we got a couple of car channels that were at the event, picked up the car, and they're doing stories on it. So down the line, you see a story about a red GT500 KR at Barrett-Jackson Scottsdale 2026. That was our car. And Jason's pretty smart, shrewd business guy over there, and he's got a pretty cool company called Deranged that does custom builds on trucks. He's pretty cool and confident. And we're getting a little close to the auction, and the car's starting to come up the lanes, and you can see we got some video of the car coming up, and people are all over taking pictures of it, and we're doing pictures, me and him. And he's starting to get a little nervous, and he's getting interviewed by another friend of ours named Chiro. He's doing a video, and we're both wired up, and he's talking, I'm talking, and the car comes rolling up on the block. And I got a beautiful video of the car coming up on the block that somebody sent me. They start their whole deal and, it opens up 500,000. They come down, blah, 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 100,000, 125, 150, 175, 180, 185, 190, 200, 210, 220. The number that Sam told me he needed to get out of it where he felt good and he kind of walked away net zero was about 250K. Got him out of the car, and anything above that, he was starting to make a few bucks. The thing's at 250, 260. I'm looking over, and he's a big guy. He's about 6'2", and I'm looking up at him, and I can just see the smile and these pearly whites coming out. Sam is going nuts on stage. He's videoing, talking, yelling, screaming, and it's 275, 290, 300, 310, 320, 330, 340, 350. I was like, where's this thing going to stop? And we're like, wow, this is spectacular. They push it to about 370, and they back it down to 350, and they're sitting there. And I'm looking at Jason. I'm looking at Sam. He's screaming. He's on his phone doing this deal. The video's hysterical. And all of a sudden, boom, they hammer the car at 350K. I'm like, 350K, 10%, man, that's 385 this guy paid for the car. If he's a private guy, he paid tax. He's over 400. I said, plus shipping. I said, that's pretty impressive. I said, that affects the whole market on these cars because now it raises the tide, and rising tides raises all boats and brings that car up in the market. And it was a phone bidder. We never met the guy. It was, if you listen to the video, it says on the phone at the end, which means a phone guy bought it. We're high-fiving, we're walking off the stage. He made $100,000 on top of the car, and everything was good. And that whole thing came together going back a year ago to a couple of crusty Range Rovers out in the middle of the El Paso, Texas desert to where we are now. And everybody was happy, and I was excited, and it's just a good time. Now it's onward and upward to the next one, and there's a really good one coming up next, and you're going to hear about that way down the road. Enjoy.
We love Lemon Squad because they can have a certified inspector out to look at a car that you're considering buying within 1 to 3 days. It's the most powerful way to be the shrewdest negotiator possible in a used car transaction. But sometimes even that isn't quick enough, and sometimes you're pressured by a dealership staff or a salesperson into making a decision on the spot. So they have launched the perfect solution for this, Lemon Squad Live. It allows you in less than 2 minutes to set up a video call with one of their certified inspectors at the car you're looking at so they can help you walk through what to look for and what to walk away from. It's the best way to avoid these high pressure, difficult situations where a used car can be a lot to take in and you want to make the best buying decision possible. Using one of their certified inspectors can help you figure out if the paint doesn't match and what to look at for consumable items like brakes, tires, and things like that. How to check the fluids, how to check the functionality of the infotainment. Anything that you need to look around a car to be the most qualified and researched buyer possible. Lemon Squad Live is here to help, so check them out now at the link in the description below or by using the QR code on your screen.